A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at WION.com.
Hello and welcome. I'm Ananya Datta and this is Race to Power. Let's start talking elections. In India, the sitting Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal has been arrested. There are a lot of questions. What's next for Kejriwal? What is the legal case against him? And most importantly, who will be heading the Delhi government? We will touch on all of those questions. Stay tuned. Now, something happened in Canada in the last 24 hours. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government survived a no-confidence motion. Elections are likely to be held next year, and it seems like Canada's green plans are making Trudeau blue. A special court in Delhi has reserved its order on the Delhi Chief Minister's remand case. The Enforcement Directorate had demanded 10-day custody of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal from the court. Kejriwal was arrested late last night in connection with the alleged excise policy scam case by the ED. The National Corruption Watchdog has alleged that Kejriwal was the kingpin and the key conspirator of the multi-million-dollar scam. Lawyers representing the Delhi Chief Minister have questioned the timing of the arrest. They have alleged that the BJP-ruled central government is using the ED as a weapon to keep the top Aam Aadmi Party leaders locked up during the elections. The Enforcement Directorate, on its part, has alleged that they have established a money trail of over 450 million rupees. The ED alleges that Delhi liquor policy of 2021 was tweaked to unduly benefit liquor wholesalers. The Aam Aadmi Party, in return, got kickbacks worth millions that was used for its campaigning in Goa Legislative Assembly elections. Kejriwal's lawyers have contested ED's claim, saying that money trail has not yet been established properly, and hence this cannot be the basis for the arrest. Some of the top leaders of his party are already behind bars in the alleged money laundering case. ED had issued 9 summons to Kejriwal since last year, all of which were ignored by the Delhi Chief Minister. Kejriwal had called the summons quote-unquote illegal, alleging that the actions of ED is politically motivated and is part of a conspiracy to destabilize the Delhi government. The tussle between ED and Kejriwal finally reached the Delhi High Court, which refused to grant protection from arrest to the Delhi Chief Minister on Thursday. Hours later, ED came knocking at Kejriwal's doors. His arrest immediately sparked condemnation from senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders and other leaders of the opposition bloc. Senior leaders of the India Alliance have voiced support for the ensnared opposition leader. Now, to discuss this further, our correspondent Dharamjot Kaur is joining us live from outside the Rouse Avenue Court Complex in New Delhi. Dharamjot, it's good to see you. It's been about 6 hours since Arvind Kejriwal was first produced at the court. What are we hearing, if at all, anything?
Well, Ananya, we're still waiting on the district court bench to issue the final order in terms of whether or not they have agreed to give the enforcement director a remand to keep the Delhi chief minister in custody and carry forward their investigation and questioning. So there is still no clarity on that front. We had heard a couple of hours ago that the bench has reserved its order as of now, but there is no official confirmation in terms of what that order will be at this point. So I am currently outside the Enforcement Directorate complex. We're waiting to hear on any movement or any updates in terms of the order, and we're also waiting to see if and when the Delhi Chief Minister will be brought back to the ED complex behind me. Ananya?
All right, Dharanjot, thank you so much for getting us all those updates from Delhi. Let's give you a brief history of the Delhi liquor policy case that has resulted in the Delhi Chief Minister's arrest. Let's first analyze the Delhi excise case. The Delhi government introduced a new liquor policy in November of 2021. Now, under the policy, the Delhi government exited from the liquor business and handed it over to private vendors in a license-based system. It was done to eliminate the liquor mafia, increase government revenue and improve consumer experience. The excise policy was withdrawn after a Central Bureau of Investigation probe was recommended by the Delhi Lieutenant Governor. Now, Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena flagged violation of norms and lapses. India's ED is an organization mandated with investigation of Office of Money Laundering and violating of foreign exchange laws. Now, let's take a look at the leaders facing Enforcement Directorate's heat in the case. Aam Aadmi Party chief, who we have been talking about, Arvind Kejriwal, the ED says that the excise policy was formulated with loopholes that promoted cartel formations through the back door to benefit AAP leaders. Now, former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Following legal trouble, Sisodia had resigned from the Delhi government, with the AAP handing over his portfolios to his party colleague Atishi. AAP lawmaker and parliamentarian Sanjay Singh. Singh was arrested on October 4th last year, 2023, following 10 hours of searches at his home. Last but not the least, Bharat Rashtriya Samiti politician K. Kavitha. As per the Enforcement Directorate, probe revealed Bharat Rashtriya Samiti leader K. Kavitha and others conspired with AAP leaders Kejriwal and Sisodia. K. Kavitha is allegedly a key member of the South group accused of paying the Aam Aadmi Party kickbacks in return for a big share of liquor licenses. Another big news coming in from India. The Indian Election Commission on Thursday made public a fresh data set of electoral bonds. The data set includes their alphanumeric numbers that can help match their purchases with the political parties that receive those funds. The State Bank of India was the only bank authorized to sell and redeem the bonds. Now, they were first issued in March of 2018 and were being sold until being declared null and void by the top court just last month. Now, who gave the most to India's Bharatiya Janata Party? Mega Engineering, 584 crore rupees or around 70 million US dollars. Quick Supply Chain, 375 crore rupees or around 44 million US dollars. Vedanta, 226.65 crore rupees or around 27 million US dollars. Bharti Airtel, 197.4 crore rupees or around 23 million US dollars. Madan Lal Limited, 175.5 crore rupees or around 21 million US dollars. Next, who gave the most to the All India Trinamool Congress? Future Gaming, 542 crore rupees or 65 million US dollars. Alia Energy, 281 crore rupees or around 33 million US dollars. Dhariwal Infrastructure, 90 crore rupees or around 10 million US dollars. MKJ Enterprises, 45.9 crore rupees or around 5 million US dollars. Avis Trading, 45.5 crore rupees, again around 5 million US dollars. And what about the Indian National Congress? Western UP Power 110 crore rupees or around 13 million US dollars, Vedanta 104 crore rupees around 12 million US dollars, MKJ Enterprises 91.6 crore rupees around 10 million US dollars, Yashoda Super Speciality 64 crore rupees or around 7 million US dollars, Avis Trading 53 crore rupees or around 6 million US dollars. And before we wrap up, look at the crucial Indian Supreme Court verdict. Top court judges said that the electoral bond scheme violated constitutional right to freedom of speech and expression. As per top court judges, the electoral bond scheme violated the right to information. The top court ordered the State Bank of India to disclose to the Election Commission the names of the contributors, among other things. Let's decode another race to power. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal government on Thursday survived a no-confidence motion. The motion that was brought by the opposition Conservative Party over Canada's carbon tax looks set to be a major issue in an election likely to be held next year. A statement by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police had triggered the political crisis. The RCMP had earlier said that Canada's economy is ailing and may trigger civil unrest in the next 5 years. According to the redacted version of the confidential report by the RCMP, the economic forecasts for the next 5 years and beyond are beyond bleak. It says that the current situation in the country is likely to deteriorate further, and once recession kicks in, living standard would decline, impacting younger generations. With many Canadians under the age of 35 being unable to buy their own homes. Worried by this, in an interview last month, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau blamed social media and conspiracy theorists for preventing major news outlets from shaping public opinion the way that they used to. Facing a protest by truckers in January of 2022 over his government's harsh COVID-19 policies, Trudeau infamously accused the demonstrators of extremism and declared a state of emergency, seized the bank accounts of several Freedom Convoy leaders while jailing many others. With the RCMP report predicting a revolt if poverty and economic situation is not reversed, Trudeau's government is going ahead with reforms. Even surviving a no-confidence vote for implementing climate reforms apart from putting curbs on foreign students' intake and a cap on temporary residence in a bid to shape up the country. The big question, will it work? Now, it has been about 48 hours since Ireland's Prime Minister announced his decision to step down. The move came as a surprise for the entire country. With elections slated for early next year, Leo Varadkar's term was almost over. Eyes are now set on 37-year-old Simon Harris. At the moment, he is the only candidate in the race, but even before the confirmation of his candidature, he had the backing of nearly half of his parliamentary party. In case Harris secures a seat, he will become Ireland's youngest Prime Minister, a title that was held by the sitting Prime Minister Varadkar. Let's tell you a little about Harris now. He's currently Ireland's Higher Education Minister. He was also the Health Minister from 2016 until mid-2020, and this is when he came to limelight for spearheading Ireland's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. In general too, Harris is one of Ireland's most visible government ministers. He has 92,000 followers on TikTok and 1.8 million likes on his videos. Ireland is being governed by a three-party coalition. Leo Varadkar has been heading the coalition, but with him stepping down now, his successor will have to take over the job. And whether it is Harris or someone else, the leader will have a big task at hand. He has less than a year to save his party from defeat at a general election that could see the nationalist Sinn Féin party replace the incumbent. Let's move across to Spain now, where exiled Catalan separatist Carles Puigdemont has announced that he will be contesting upcoming elections in the month of May. Now, Puigdemont seeks to lead the northeastern regional elections in May. The separatist leader says that he would return to Spain if he regains the region's leadership. This even if an arrest warrant issued for him remains in force.
After 6.5 years of defending the presidency in exile, now that I have the chance to reinstate the government that was unfairly and illegally dismissed with the 155, now that I have this chance, I won't flee for reasons of political convenience.
Puigdemont is the founder of hardline separatist party Junts. He has been facing prosecution over his role as president of Catalonia during a 2017 vote to break away from Spain. Back then, the regional administration also declared its independence, which was later deemed illegal by the courts. The independence bid prompted Madrid to impose direct rule in Catalonia in what was seen as Spain's biggest political crisis in decades. 61-year-old Puigdemont fled Spain to avoid charges of disobedience and embezzlement. He now lives in Belgium, where he serves as a member of the European Parliament. The charges against him could be dropped under an amnesty announced by Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's government, in return for the votes of separatists to prop up their minority national government. While Puigdemont can campaign from Belgium, he will have to return to Spain to be sworn in if he wins the polls. This could happen as early as June. Spain's amnesty bill is expected to come into force by May or June. A victory for Puigdemont would be a blow for the Sanchez government, which is already under fire for approving the amnesty. Moreover, the independence drive would be revived once the separatist leader returns. Puigdemont said that he would ask Spain for a referendum on independence and did not rule out acting unilaterally again if the negotiations were unsuccessful. Now, Senegal votes on Sunday in a tightly contested presidential election. The polls have fired up political tensions and are testing one of West Africa's most stable democracies. Elections are taking place after much uncertainty. Earlier, President Macky Sall unsuccessfully tried to delay the vote until the end of the year, triggering violent protests across the country. In the latest turn of events leading up to Sunday's vote, opposition leader Ousmane Sonko was released from prison. His release last week triggered jubilant celebrations on the streets of Dakar and renewed excitement about the contest. Sunday's election is said to be Senegal's fourth democratic transfer of power since it gained independence from France in the year 1960. The country is viewed as a pillar of stability in a region that has been seeing dozens of coups and attempted coups in recent years. But observers say that Sunday's elections had set a grim record in the country's democratic history. Rights groups have accused Sall's government of repressing the media, civil society and the opposition. Human Rights Watch said nearly 1,000 opposition members and activists have been arrested across the country in the last 3 years. President Sall denies that he is trying to hold on to power. There are 19 candidates in the race, the highest number in Senegal's history. Now, these include a former Prime Minister, a close ally of Sonko, who was barred from running, and a former mayor of Dakar. A runoff between leading candidates is widely expected. Despite the violent upheavals in recent months, analysts say unemployment is the chief concern for a majority of young Senegalese. World Bank data shows about a third of Senegalese live in poverty. Thousands have fled towards the West in search of economic opportunity, undertaking risky and often deadly journeys. As the Lok Sabha elections draw near, a fascinating demographic data has emerged, shining light on the undiminished spirit of India's oldest voters. In a remarkable testament to the strength of democracy, thousands of centenarians across India are gearing up to make their voices heard. Over 2.18 lakh or 218,000 voters are above 100 years of age. We leave you with this extraordinary story of poll participation across the age.
Age may not be on their side anymore, but their enthusiasm remains undeterred. In Punjab, an astounding number of voters, over 5,000, are aged between 100 and 119 years. This, with a further 205 astonishingly crossing the 120-year mark. And these elders won't need to step out of their homes to vote, thanks to the Election Commission's initiative for voters aged 85 years and above. Moving on from the bustling districts of Punjab to the historic lands of Rajasthan and Karnataka, women centenarians in these states have remarkably outnumbered their male counterparts. In Rajasthan, where assembly elections are set to be held soon, there are over 17,000 voters above the age of 100. This, according to the data released by the state's Election Commission. Surprisingly, in this age bracket, there are more than 4 female voters for every male voter. More than 13,000 women and 3,700 men over 100 years of age are registered to vote. The tale is similar in the South Indian state of Karnataka, where almost 18,000 voters above the age of 100 are set to cast their ballots. And what's noteworthy here is that 6 in 10 of these centenarian voters are women. Meanwhile, Telangana and Madhya Pradesh are also home to a significant amount of voters who have witnessed the turn of the century not one but twice. Meanwhile, in Haryana's Gurugram, city officials have launched a verification drive after discovering nearly 1,200 voters over the century mark. This, as 13 of the total voters are reportedly 120 years old. 1,134 voters are between 100 and 109 years old, and 57 are between 110 and 119 years old. It should be noted here that Jiroi Man Kimura of Japan holds the record for being the oldest man alive. He's lived for 116 years and 54 days. The major reason behind this investigation. In an era where the youth vote is often spotlighted, these elder voters remind us of the enduring power and responsibility of civic participation. With facilities like postal ballots and wheelchair assistance, the Election Commission of India has ensured that age is just a number when it comes to democracy. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in